But I want to get into some of the Pistons stuff because, we've been doing a lot of lines last couple weeks, and we're going to continue to do a lot of lines. But we got to sneak in some Pistons here because the Rico Hines footage came out. Those guys did some runs, and they look good. And if you could play the video, Lucas, and we'll even talk over it if that works
just
better.
keep talking just to make sure.
All right, let's see it. Okay, this is, and again, you got Ivy, Asar, Cade. And look at this defensive stop here. I mean, there he is. There's one. But these guys, man, overall, I know it's just runs footage, but the fact that they're out there getting and running, building chemistry, and they look good defensively, which is the number one thing to take away, Sam, because people always tell me, where's the shooting? Where's the shooting? Where's the shooting? And my response is, well, can you stop somebody? That's my answer. Like, the shooting, okay, we could talk about it, but defensively, this team needs a lot of work. And they have the potential, and you see it here, just disrupting plays. And, again, these are against, guys that, it's different. It's not an NBA game, obviously. But my takeaway watching was Asar Thompson's defensive potential. Like, that is on clear display. Asar, when he was drafted, we know what he looks like physically. We know people question the shot, the jumper. I get all of that. And that's fair, to be honest with you. Very fair, especially his free throw percentage. But you can't deny the versatility this man brings day one. 6'7", 7-foot wingspan, the athleticism, his ability to switch on multiple positions, a guy that you could put on the opposing team's best offensive player, kind of alleviate some of that pressure off of Cade and Ivy. I think Asar Thompson defensively, man, is going to be great. And I think he'll be better defensively earlier than people think.
Oh, 100%. I think Asar Thompson, one of the reasons why after just letting it settle for a few minutes, I was a fan of the Asar Thompson pick is what he can provide defensively. I think he steps in on day one, maybe other than Cade Cunningham, and is one of the better wing defenders on this team. And then you parlay that with Marcus Sasser, who can also play defense. He's one of those sort of pesky point guard types, but he's more skilled than people think defensively as well. And that was always been the problem with the Detroit Pistons, at least last year. They couldn't stop anybody. Cade Cunningham was out as well for 72 games. He's going to be one of your best defensive players, one of your most versatile defenders. And as long as they can stop people at a much higher rate than they did last year, that is, along with shooting, along with obviously development and Cade Cunningham being back, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, all of that, that is their pathway to seeing sustained, actual noticeable, tangible, sustained improvement. Because we don't want to see any more 17, 20, 25 win teams. I think this is a team that could win. At the very least, you gotta hit the over. I think their over-under was 27.5. You got to hit the over. I would like to see 35, though. I think they can get there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sam. I think 35 is fair. I would say at least 30. I mean, I know maybe I'm just reaching at the bottom of the barrel here, but 30 I'll take because it shows that you've at least made almost a double-digit win improvement. You get Cade back, and he's really the engine to this train. Like, he's the thing that keeps this thing going. And him being back, and he looked great, by the way. He played with the USA, the select team, faced the USA roster, and reportedly was the best player on the court. Ooh. So, if that's a great sign. A guy who's coming off an injury, missed an entire year of basketball. And, again, he looks stronger, physically looks great. Obviously, the health concerns are there. You want him to be able to hold up, but no one's questioning the talent Cade Cunningham has, and he looked great in those runs as well.
You know who else we're not questioning the talent of? That would be the one, the only, Booner.
Oh.
The GOAT.
Because there is one man at Woodward Sports to go to when you need your lock for college game day, if you should take the under for the Bears on Sunday, or if you just need to know how many glizzies Joey Chestnut is going to house this year. And that man is Booner of Woodward Bets. Have no fear. Booner is locking in all football season, bringing you the best picks only on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m., premiering on September 2nd. College football, he's got you. NFL football, you know it. Woodward Bets, watch on Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
And I want to ask you this question too, Sam, because Lindsey Hunter, and I love Lindsey, man. He's one of the greatest dudes to talk to, and he has so many stories, number one, but I just love chopping it up with him. And one thing he said that I can't get out of my head about the Pistons, and maybe this is just him being optimistic because he, of course, played for the organization. He believes this team can make the playoffs without any significant additions, and they didn't really make significant additions. How far? What's your feeling on how much this team can overachieve? Because, Sam, I'll just be honest with you. And Mike Gentry, I love that man, but he called me a Piston slappy. But even me, this team, I think that the maximum, everything goes right. I'm talking Cade in the most improved player race. Ivy takes a second-year jump. Asar looks, great defensively. Duren, Isaiah Stewart. This team's winning 40 games at the most.
40 games?
Can you see a scenario when they win more? I just don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic. I don't know.
God, it's so hard. Who am I to go against Lindsey Hunter when it comes to the Detroit Pistons' expectations? Because if he's got to make in the playoffs, I mean, we should all be very, very happy and excited because he's forgotten more about basketball than I'll ever know. And I proudly admit that because Lindsey Hunter is the man, former NBA player, former coach, former head coach in college. Lindsey Hunter is a basketball savant. I don't see them making the playoffs this year, and that's okay for the record. I think they are about this is the year where you got to show improvement, and then next year maybe you make that leap into the playoffs. The one pathway that I would say that they'd have to, I would say, expedite the rebuild more than anything. What if Cade Cunningham is a superstar? Has anybody ever thought about that?
What if?
No, Sam, I'm so
I
glad
think injuries are the only thing holding
cool.
that back from happening.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm with Lucas, but actually it's a great point because this is a superstar league in the NBA. It's superstar driven. And if Cade, a lot of it depends on how much better Cade can get. We know he gave you 26-6 on one freaking leg. One leg. And Rod
Literally,
brought this up.
literally.
Shout out to Rod Beard, man, because he told me and Kool-Aid this. He's like, the dude averaged 26-6 on one leg. That's the floor. That's the absolute floor. So think about it. He's 100% healthy. Let's say he gives you 26. On the best case scenario, 26, 27, 8, and 8. Let's just say like he has a breakout season and he's damn near 30 a game. I still think it's 40. I mean, maybe I'm just best. I just think they have guys that you like Joe Harris and Alec Burks. They got depth. They got young guys. But people talking with this team making the playoffs, like, yeah, I don't see it. I think play-in is the ceiling. Contending for the play-in is what they should do, but making it or not, that's fine. But the play-in making it, to me, is the ceiling.
Well, would 40 get you the 10 seed? It might.
And Chuck Brewer brought up a great point, too, because he mentions if Cade takes the jump, I think he can. 40's a legit win total, but he also says, Jeff, it depends on what other teams and how much they fall back, which is true. You're not counting Orlando, who was in the play-in race last year. Could they take a jump? A lot of it depends on the teams in the East, and I'll just go through them right now. Teams that were that made the playoffs in the play-in last year: Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Cleveland. They're not going nowhere. New York, they're not going. I think they'll be back in the playoffs. Brooklyn could. I mean, they had that boost last year before they traded everybody. I don't know. They're a tricky one to me. Brooklyn.
I think that's a good comparison for Detroit. No, Brooklyn.
I
mean, I could be wrong, but just when I stack up the rosters, I'm like,
well. It's different because Brooklyn just started this quote-unquote rebuild, but they got Michael, they got some guys they like, Cameron Johnson, so they got pieces. But, yeah, talent level, maybe so, Lucas, because Michael's kind of arcade. Like, he's going to give him similar numbers. But I think Cade's more of a complete player. At least can pass the ball. He can do a lot more. But still, regardless, Michael's a damn good player. But Brooklyn, I don't know. They're a wild card team. Atlanta, I think, will be back in the conversation. That's, 5 or 6 so far. Miami, of course, that's 7. Chicago and Toronto. Like, Toronto's on this fringe rebuild. I don't know what Toronto's doing. And then you have Chicago, which Lonzo Ball expected to miss another year. I don't know if they're going to do anything significant this year. So, really, I think it's 6 teams you're really worried about. Past that, it's a lot of guesses. Like Orlando, what kind of jump do they take? It's a lot of question marks.
Well,
and Indiana, not to mention them as well.
Well, the reason I bring up Cade Cunningham, obviously because when he's been on the court in the NBA, he has been damn good. But also going into his 3rd year, you hear reports that he was the best player on the court during USA scrimmages. You hear reports that he was either the best or one of the best players on the court during the Rico Hines tournament. That's a big deal. And I think Cade Cunningham, when we talk about how he played when he was on the court in the last season, when he's only played for 9 games, I look at what he did in March of his rookie year, when for an entire month he averaged 23, 6, and 7 on 48% shooting. His three-point percentage wasn't great, but another thing, in college at Oklahoma State, he was a 40% three-point shooter. I think he's gonna bump that up to 35% this year. And I think when it's all said and done, when you look back after these next few years play out, I think it will be a widely known fact that Cade Cunningham was the best number 1 overall pick since Anthony Davis. I think he's got that much potential.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's bold, Flannel. I like it, though.
But I'm with Flannel, though. He's right. And Kool-Aid texted me now. He's chiming in. He says they got to be better than 5 teams, which is true. They got to be better than Indiana, Washington, Orlando, and Charlotte. I'll ask you, Flannel.
Even Charlotte's questionable.
Well, I'll ask you, Flannel. Are they better than Charlotte?
I think so.
Are they better than Orlando?
I can't say that yet.
That's a toss-up. Are they better than Washington?
Yes.
And are they better than Indiana?
I can't say that yet.
So you got Orlando and Indiana toss-up teams, and again, that's not. We just discussed Toronto and Chicago maybe dropping off, but that's a tough one. That's why I think contending for the play-in is realistic and it should be expected. I don't think playoffs or bust is the right way to go about this.
It is 100% not playoffs or bust. As long as I would say, honestly, I know that the 17-win season last year was also a bit of a fugazi, but what if they just double that to 34? I said 35 earlier. I would accept 30 at minimum, and then it would give basically. It would basically give Troy Weaver and obviously Monty Williams isn't on the hot seat. It would give Troy Weaver a lot of, I would say, leeway if they can at least get to 30. If we could finally see some improvement of wins on the court, because that's always been the issue, whether it be because of injuries or poor draft picks like in 2020. Even with Troy Weaver, all the great things that he's done, all the things that we support, it has not shown up in the win column. But I think that's going to happen this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, to make the play-in, it starts defensively.
Yes.
And nobody is more elite defensively than Guardian Alarm.
Nobody.
Let me just tell you that. They got customized solutions.